Today we're talking about the 5 reasons the INFJ isn't power hungry at all and still kicks butt. Because if you think of an INFJ, the last thing you're going to think about is a conqueror. In a sense of, oh, I'm just going to walk in somewhere, I'm going to be a bulldozer, and I'm going to make people do what I want them to because I will demand that of them. We're not the kind of people who go into a scene and say, I'm going to be the person who's going to be in charge, who's going to say what we're going to do when. That's just not in our nature. We want every single person to do exactly what they want to do, as long as, of course, they're not hurting anybody. We're simply not going to sway people away from their natural tendencies just because we demand it. But the truth is, people do adapt to us. The truth is, people actually listen to INFJs. We actually get to a place where people recognize what we have to offer. But in order to do that, in order to get to that place, we have to recognize that just because we're speaking our truth, we're not forcing anybody to do anything. All we're doing is saying, this is who I am, this is what I believe in, this is how I see the future could be, and now it's on you to decide, are you going to join me? Are you going to have a collaboration with me as a person, or are we going to go our separate ways? But I'm surely not going to dim my light anymore. So today we're talking about the 5 reasons why the INFJ isn't power hungry, and why this is exactly the reasons why we do kick butt, and why we should actually stand in our power. Before we get started, I want to remind you, if you haven't done this so far, to download the free poster on the formula to an INFJ Epic Life. And if you want to take it to the next level, then get the INFJ Epic Life audio guide today. Everything you need to know you can find in the links in the description. Reason number 1 why the INFJ isn't power hungry is because we have no need to feed our ego. It's all about the way our cognitive functions are set up. Our ego is rather low. Still, we all have an ego, and it's healthy to have an ego to a certain extent. But very often people think of ego only being something as, I'm going to be a tyrant, I'm going to demand everybody to like me. It can also be an ego of, I'm too big for this, I'm not going to be a person who's going to scoop down to other people's levels and fight back. I'm too good for that. That is also an ego, and that's actually what INFJs tend to have, this kind of ego. But still, with time, we recognize, no, I am human like everybody else. And if people start hurting me, I will have to bite back one way or another. It's a painful realization, but it's the one thing that will actually help us to move forward. So on the one hand, we don't have such a need to feed our ego, so we're not stepping out into this power-hungry realm, but we also learn that having a healthy amount of ego and feeding it accordingly, because we don't have a need for it, we just know that there's a certain necessity for it, will actually help us to create amazing results in life, and we're not going to get swept away into some power-hungry games that are not leading to anything productive. Reason number 2 why the INFJ isn't power hungry, because we're laid back individuals. People like INFJs don't ever feel like they have to fight. We have had so much experience with just laying back, doing our thing, and still seeing that we can create amazing results in our life. We have become masters at sometimes doing the bare minimum and still getting rather good results in our life. And because of that, we've never leaned into the power hungry direction. With time, hopefully we recognize that it will be much better for us to not do the bare minimum, but to actually step out of the norm and create amazing results by just putting in a little bit more effort. But we're never going to change our identity to such an extent that we will ever turn into a power-hungry monster. The reason number 3 why the INFJ isn't power hungry is because we understand power games extremely well. It has everything to do with how our functions are set up. It has everything to do with the fact that our 4th function is extroverted sensing. So we don't like to execute it. We don't like to be the person who gets into, some power hungry game, but we can very well tell which person is in power. We can very well understand which people, listen to what person in what situations, what kind of insecurities are leading them to, listening to somebody and allowing somebody else to have power over them. It becomes so obvious to us. We can read it, like it's written right there. Oh, that person, listens to the other person, and the other person is afraid of the third person. It is second nature to us. And because we understand it so well, we never really get into the fight. Because people who overpower others or allow others to overpower them are always dealing with some kind of insecurities that they're not aware of and that they're trying to heal somehow through, either putting others down or just, listening to somebody who seems to be more powerful. INFJs are rather independent in that way. We understand what's going on, and because we understand it, we don't need to participate in it. Reason number 4 why the INFJ isn't power hungry is because our energy is finite. That's something that we just have to be aware of. Every person has finite energy, of course, but the INFJ really doesn't have that much physical energy. One of the things we talk about in boot camp, for example, is physical energy management, because we have to learn, how can I maximize the physical energy I do have? Right? Because once you do that, you can do the things that are most important to you. We're not going to be the workaholics who do 10,000 things and are probably not doing anything really important, or only, let's say 10 out of those 10,000s are actually really, really important. That's not who we are. So we're not going to grab onto power and play some games and do things that are just going to drain our energy when we're not going to get any benefit out of it. If we actually participate in something, if we actually execute on something, then it's really thought out. So therefore, we have learned from an early age on to be very careful where we put our energy into, and power games are definitely not it. And reason number 5, why the INFJ isn't power hungry is because we follow our own path. We learn rather quickly in life that in order to be really successful on our terms, in order to live an INFJ epic life, we have to go down our own path. And the more authentic you become, the more you are in alignment with what is good for you, the less you're going to get in any power struggles. Because if you are on your own path, there is no competition. There's nobody who can do what you do. Nobody who has the gifts that you have. Nobody who sees the world the way you see it. And so there isn't an arena where you have to have any kind of power struggles. Everybody gets to live in abundance if they wanted to. That's the kind of world the INFJ lives in. And therefore, we're never really going to get into power struggles, because who is in my lane? Nobody but me. And so therefore, I don't have to overpower anybody or actually get in line because somebody else is trying to overpower me. Remember, guys, if you want some more guidelines how to tap into your INFJ Epic Life, then get the free poster on the formula to an INFJ Epic Life and get the INFJ Epic Life audio guide today. Everything you need to know you can find in the links in the description. And if you want to watch another video now that is in line with today's topic, then watch the video on the 5 reasons why it's dangerous to mess with an INFJ.